Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. It's finally not raining. I don't know when it stopped, because it was raining last night pretty hard. I had to carry my umbrella on my walkies last night, because it was raining after all. Good reason to wear it, but it's bright-ish. It doesn't appear to be any fog, so thumbs up for that. And it's still warm. I mean, I'm just wearing a shirt and a t-shirt and my safety jacket, and it's almost too warm for that. In the middle of January, it's almost warm enough for me to wear one shirt going out walks in the middle of the night. Thumbs up for climate change. And of course, front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, it'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I'd like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These are literally beautiful and literally awesome people who, in fact, are literally beautiful and literally awesome, helping to keep me and my aging pet alive. We both appreciate that very much. Metabolizing is a very good thing. If you would like to help keep us metabolizing, I have links to my Patreon in the video description, as well as a PayPal for possible donations. Excuse me. I drank a soda before starting and gas wants out. An Amazon wish list link with things like pet food and a post office box where you can send anything at all, and I'll open it up in video and we can all go, wow, because that's cool. I only ask for postcards and keychains, so thumbs up, and front loading a video is over. Yay! I'm also out of breath right now, so it's going to be a great day that way. My arm right here is really hurting, so it feels really weak too. Joy on that. Before going to bed last night, I took a Benadryl tablet, brand name, but so I could sleep. And while it was around 1 o'clock when I got to bed, I did fall asleep pretty quickly. And while I did wake up around 5:30ish, normally I'm wide awake because of pain and discomfort. Here, it wasn't until the last moments of coming up on 6:30 before I got too uncomfortable and had to get up. But I actually got some sleep in, and that's good. Now, yesterday was bad because of the previous insomnia. Oh boy, because I had major falling asleep problems. I have not just sleep apnea, I have apnea. Now, sleep apnea, of course, is when you stop breathing while you're sleeping. Your brain can literally forget to tell your lungs to breathe. That is central apnea, where just the signals stop and you just stop breathing. You have a clear airway, clear pathway, you just don't breathe. And then there's obstructive sleep apnea, which is where the soft tissues in your throat collapse, and that's why people snore. That's what can cause that kind of sleep apnea. It's just a collapse of tissues that you can't breathe past. But I have central apnea. My brain just forgets. The thing is, it's not just sleep apnea. It doesn't happen often. And I can't remember full details because this was when I was very young, and I can remember very little of when I was younger, but I can remember a few things. But because of the span of decades, I can only remember broad strokes. But there were many times, even going back, I remember back as far as elementary school, not elementary, it was middle school, where I would realize that I was really short of breath just sitting because I had stopped breathing. I never had to take over and do it manually for long, maybe 30, 40 seconds, a minute, and then I'd lose track, and then because I was starting to breathe on my own again. All my life I have had not just sleep apnea, but just apnea. And this still happens once a month or so. I'll be awake and doing things and then realizing I'm not breathing. So I have to manually breathe for up to a minute, and then my body takes over again and I can just, go back on to regular stuff. Don't have to worry about this part. Sleep apnea and apnea for the win. I'm so glad my brain forgets to tell my body to live. Life is life though, but because of that, oh my gosh, I kept falling asleep yesterday. And with sleep apnea, that is a strain on your brain and your heart, especially because you have hypoxia, low oxygen. You're not breathing. And when that happens and I wake up after not breathing, my hands, well, from like my elbows and my knees on down are just tingling. Like, you know, you've cut off the circulation or the nerve signals and you get those pins and needles feelings. I get that. Combined with just my head, my ears are ringing and it's hard to concentrate. I can't think, I can't focus for hours after that. I kept having that happen. So I got nothing done yesterday. I wanted to, oh my gosh, I wanted to record, I wanted to play Drifter for the channel. There's all sorts of things I wanted to do, but I couldn't. Now I did go walkies, and that's a good thing. And I enjoy, you know, the physical exercise in that I'm going to get things done, and that's good. But of course, my thoughts were 1,000 ping pong balls in a wind tunnel. I mean, I would jump onto subjects where I would just sit on it for a half a blocks of walking and then on to another thing. But I'm still hitting subjects on the razor's edge, the cryptid stuff, the inside, just stopping, thinking, trying to recontextualize, and then bouncing off onto another thing. They're all still work, just not long, not much, and tiny, tiny little things. So, yay. Now, one thing that did happen back at the beginning of the month, I've been trying to buy little tiny things for myself because I have spent, like ever since my wife died, I have spent next to nothing on me. And only lately, with all this solo RPG stuff, have I actually started spending money on things other than just food and cannabis. So I've been buying the RPG stuff, and then I've got a battle mat that I did so that I can do, you know, putting stuff on a mat. And I've bought, after I made a dice box, I wanted to make a dice tower. But that's a lot of work, and with executive dysfunction made worse by sleep apnea and insomnia, oh my god, the executive dysfunction was terrible. At the beginning of the month, I broke down and went, you know what? I'm never going to be able to make this thing. I'm just going to buy one. So for under 20 bucks, I found a dice tower. Now, it showed up yesterday on a Sunday. The weird thing is, I didn't realize that, oopsie, I'm knocking stuff over. I didn't realize laser etching had gotten so good because the dice tower came on wood. And these things are laser etched because you can see the burn on the inside of them and how intricate. You couldn't do anything like that with anything but laser etching and the like. I mean, good golly Miss Molly. So I'm glad they did that, but these were in there so precise because it's just laser etched. I mean, you put a piece of tissue paper in between there and they're not going to fit. So I had to punch these things all apart, and it came with a screwdriver and a bunch of tiny, tiny, tiny little screws. Also with kind of a nail file to make sure that you should file all the edges down before you put it together to make sure things fit. I didn't bother doing that. So I'm going to show off the dice tower that I got in the mail from Amazon for under 20 bucks. And the main body of the dice tower, here we are, I lost it, is this. Even the, you can tell that that's laser etching for all of the various symbols, but you can see how all the characters are like little dice, and it's got this edge, no luck, just skill. And all of these silly little things here. And I had to put all these pieces together, and then the tiny, tiny, tiny little screws. Now, the one thing that I did like about this is it's modular, because even though I had to put all of the pieces together, you can decide how tall your tower is. You see, that's the slanted that way. So if I take this one and just slant it this way and then pop that on top, there's a nice little fall. Now, once again, if you take a look at the silly little characters on there, normally little camp kitsch stuff like this I don't really care about. But last night when I was putting this thing together, every time I looked at one of these goofy little characters, it made me smile. So that was cool. But it came with a grand total of 3 of these. So if you put these so that they're alternating with the fall, you come up with a dice tower of how tall, however tall you want it to be. And then you drop your dice in the top and then come rumbling down there, and you don't even have to expend yourself to roll dice. Like, I have 3 dice here. I shake. My hands are just shaking this thing bad. But you just take your dice, drop them in the top, and down they come, randomly rolled for you. So I have a new dice box and dice tower. So I'm going to be hopefully using that while I'm playing some of the solo stuff for the channel and myself. I mean, I play this stuff even when I'm not doing it for the channel, just not as often as I would like. Again, executive dysfunction sucks. But I got that, I put it together, and it wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard either. The big problem is my hands shake. And with the nerve damage because I had severed my radial nerve here like 10 years and some back. Yeah, about that. You know, so it was, well, not even 10 years. It was like 2017 or so. I severed the radial nerve, and so my hand was paralyzed. And that was fun. And it took years for it to come back and get good. For a long time, this was my dominant hand because this one didn't work. As this hand has gotten better and better and better, this one's gotten worse and worse and worse. By necessity, I became basically left-handed. Anything I could do with this hand, I could do with this hand except sign my name and write quickly. Now, I've gotten clumsy at just picking things up like to put on grocery scanners in stores. So, after all of that, one thing I do want to talk about here, I mentioned the movie M3gan, you know, spelled kind of M3gan, but I finally saw one of the trailers for the movie instead of just reviews. Perfect. Oh my God. Because when that weird dance scene where she's dancing and then grabs the blade part of a paper cutter to go hack some guy to death, that sort of thing is perfect. Oh my God, the absolute uncanny valleyness of it is perfect. And at one point she's chasing somebody like a dog, running after them and then down on all fours. Again, why would this AI do this, you think? Except remembering they're not human, especially this one they're working on. They're not human. AI will never think like we do. They can't. We are the product of not just the hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution, but before we even got to that point where we could branch off and become a different, speciation from the rest of the great apes. We are part of a web of life that goes back 1 billion and more years. AI can't have that. We don't even fully understand ourselves. We can't make another thing like us because we would have to put an entire world simulation to get them to that point. They will never think like us. They will be uncanny valley, where, yeah, the character will suddenly dance toward you like that. Why? Well, you'd have to think like the AI to know why. And just like they can't think like us, we will never be able to think like them. I mean, right now, the machine language stuff, the stuff that we call AI isn't artificial intelligence. It's just machine learning, which is different from artificial intelligence. I can't even remember now where I was going with that one. I distracted myself, but it's these... something about the machine learning and why it can't do things because it's not artificial intelligence, it's just machine learning. But yeah, we'll never be them because, yes, black boxing. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We don't understand what goes on with machine learning stuff because we feed the problem in and then we tweak it so that we get this result. We don't know what's happening here. We've got the input, we've got the output, and this is the black box of machine learning. So that's fun. But yeah, I thought it was awesome and brilliant that it's Blumhouse for 12 million bucks made this. Yeah, 12 million's a lot. Inflation is joyous. But comparative, that's cheap. So thumbs up for that. Anything else I have on my tower here? On my tower topics list. Yes, I'm going to talk once again about WOTC and the OGL. One of the big things that happened because of WOTC and Hasbro and all that, well, probably not Hasbro, I can't remember when they bought WOTC, but one of the big awful things that happened, why nobody played D&D 4.0, why nobody talks about it, is because they made the license for that one so restrictive that no one wanted to make anything for it. It was awful. Why would you make anything for it when they could just go, oh, it's all ours, you get nothing, ha ha ha, and then punished if you even complain. So everyone's stuck with 3.5. Not only that, that is why we have powerhouses now like Paizo and Cobalt Press and more. They rose up to take the place of the publishing that Wizards of the Coast would have done if they had not gone to a more restrictive license. Because they did, those powerhouses rose up and they exist. Now, with the new OGL and the big split that's coming up, and we don't even know what's going to happen with the new OGL. Because of that, all of the powerhouses out there have decided we're not even supporting AD&D anymore. We're doing our own thing. Yeah, it's like they keep shooting themselves in the head just to try and kill that golden goose. Yeah, good job, Wizards of the Coast, so thumbs up on that. But then it's not the actual people who are doing the design work, it's the suits who have been reported on to call upon their viewers, their players and stuff is they don't count, they don't matter. Their community is just a barrier between Hasbro and their money. They just want the people to shut up and fork over the cash. Past that, they don't care. Now, the thing, of course, is that's any corporation, because corporations are set up and designed to make money, and if you don't make money, there's actual legal ramifications from public companies and all that, from your shareholders. So, yeah, you have to make money, which is one of the reasons we're in the hyper-toxic form of hyper-capitalism we're in now, because you have to make more money than you made last quarter. It doesn't matter how. You have to make more. So if you've made record profits, if you don't top that, you're in trouble. If you're in charge, you will lose your job because you didn't make more money than last quarter. You have to keep making more and more and more. Which, of course, with the rise of all the corporations, is completely unsustainable. You can't make more forever. We're already, as consumers, being squeezed tight. And I've opened up 24 hours for the comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count in American Sign Language, well, I love having ADHD. We have Gucci NIG, okay, Jesse Koskinen, who picked up a lot of Finnish punk albums from going to a vinyl record fair. I am very glad that vinyl is coming back. It is a very good thing. We have Timmy Denton, greatly appreciated, and Confused Owl 29. Oh, maybe you should talk to a doctor too. You may have at least mild ADHD. And of course, well, and fictional death and violence. I have a switch in my head when it comes to fictional violence. I imagine it's because of where I am on my autism spectrum, but I can be like, oh wow, that's really good. He's being dismantled. There's intestines everywhere. Gosh, I bet it hurts to have your lungs pulled out like that. Listen to him scream. And then of course flick that switch and it's like, oh my god, I can't watch. He's being hurt so bad. Oh! So I don't know myself. JAYY thumbs up, and I'm going to hopefully make more shorts come in the future. We shall see. Florum, you greatly appreciated, and hey, Minecraft is awesome. No matter what, especially with this new caves update. Thumbs up. I mean, it's not new anymore, but the caves update is good. There's Crystal Lazetta, who says Megan is very good, and boy, I'm going to see it one day. Chadsworth Gigafug 2, thumbs up and thank you. Chris, greatly appreciated, thumbs up and thank you. Ice Damon, I don't see you often, but it's good to see you in the comments. And Jake Lofton, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And well, I can't speak English, but I can speak English. 11 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciate you. Get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. Definitely a thumbs up. Well, hokey smokes, it's Monday, so I'm going to try and get some stuff done that I need to get done. But if I can't, I'm not going to beat myself up. Especially with the sleep deficit I've still got built up. It's going to be hard to stay awake today. So yay. Not as hard as it was yesterday, but still it ain't going to be easy. Hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done. And if you can't, don't beat yourself up. No point in that. And with everything happening in the world, if people are getting sick around where you are, try taking precautions. Might be a good idea. If people are getting hurt where you are, like say there is an active volcano in your area, I wouldn't go like swimming in lava. That wouldn't last very long. And of course, if you're out of walking and you hear the mournful howl of that bus horn, the bus with your name on it, just hunker down and brace for impact. It ain't gonna hurt much or long, but oh god, when people find your corpse. Ugh. So, until we meet again, you take care, have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.